Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna watch Jeremiah Humans, and he's gonna react to something that he found on TikTok, mainly addressing the social problematic of lonely men. Why men are lonely and why men avoid women and why men aren't in relationships. So it's gonna be just a reaction video, just commentary on his opinion on it, and because he's Gen X, I'm a millennial, so we're probably not really on the same line. But I just want to see what he has to say, and hopefully you are willing to join me. Let's do this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Buckle up, get ready for takeoff. Today, we're going to be flying into the territory of dating, relationships, more specifically, young men dating women. And our destination will be a particular woman who put out a TikTok rant, and we're going to be responding to it. Now, the video I'm going to play is on another video, so we're responding to a response video because the only place I can find this woman's rant, because I don't have TikTok. But we're gonna go ahead and play it, and you need to buckle up for this one. This is gonna be good. And then I'm gonna replay it. I'm gonna break it down portion by portion, and I'm gonna comment on it. First, I want you to hear the whole thing, and then I'm going to break it down sentence by sentence. So, buckle up. We're getting ready for takeoff. Oh boy, this is going to be good. Oh boy. I have a few things I want to say. But first, let's get right into it. Let's play it. I want you to hear it. Hear what she has to say.
And have some patience, okay? So I got over 3,000 comments that I can't respond to, but here's my response video. And I can be a nice person, don't get me wrong, but y'all are really provoking me. And go ahead. You're not gonna get a nice side of me if you want to provoke me.
Sounds like the hot tour girl.
And I will check you. So you want to leave some nasty comments? Get ready to get checked.
Very different approach to this video versus the last video.
Let's take a poll for all you guys that say I'm wrong.
Okay, let's go.
And the good guy, he's in the friend zone, and we don't know what we're talking about. It's all this feminist crap. Women want equality. It's our fault, though. Let's take a poll. Which, by the way, you guys have had thousands of years to get it together. So I don't think it's our fault. If you guys could have done something better, you would have by now. Let's take a poll and see how many guys out here are actually dateable. How many of you work out? You go to the gym, you take care of yourself and what you eat. How many of you are fat slobs? Any of those? You're not an option.
Last time I saw like a cop video, body cam police video. It was like at a Wendy's, and it was like someone that attacked the Wendy's employees because she messed up the order with a knife or something like that. And then I was just actually so baffled by seeing all these people. Okay, it's a fast food chain, right? But seeing all these women standing outside being massively overweight, like definitely morbidly obese. And okay, like some people just gain weight pretty fast. Some people are addicted to fast food. Some people have weight gain issues. I understand that, but this was just crazy. Like literally, the manager, the employees, the customers, everybody besides the police officer was massively overweight. I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, what is this?" So, this is actually a good question. Yeah, if you do not take care of yourself and in that way, then that's already making you personally undateable and risky. And I've done so many live streams in the past that I had to delete. I talked about the principle of health problems, not only for the woman but also for the child. If there is any idea to go into pregnancy, that extra weight, that excessive weight, that obesity is definitely going to be a problem for both parties when pregnancy might be an option. and people shouldn't go lightly over it. I mean, I'm not saying it to be harmful, disrespectful, or to telling people what they're allowed to do or not, but just saying like you have to think about it. Go to a medical practitioner, go to a doctor, talk to a doctor about it, a dietist, the doctor will all say exactly the same thing I'm saying now. It's gonna bring issues, and are you willing to improve yourself in this, if to make the risks less, to take less of a risk when you're going through it? Because if it's just about wanting stuff, or are you going to be selfish and just going to overindulge and just blame everything around you?
How many of you guys jack off to porn? Women don't like that. So we're not gonna be cool with that. So you're not an option either.
Nope.
How many of you live at home with your mommy, or you have an extremely unhealthy relationship with your mommy where she tells you what to do, she wipes your nose and wipes your tears, cooks for you, cleans for you. You don't know how to do anything for yourself because you're a giant child. How many? Be honest. Don't lie, because I will call you out. How many of you are getting drunk and high every weekend? Partying it up, YOLO. Acting like...
Okay, this is she talking about the majority of men that she encounters on a daily basis? I mean, all of these things. I mean, if you're talking about teenagers, or you're talking about let's say teenagers, late teens, early 20s, college years, I can guess that that's the majority of people. Yeah. So yeah, but in general, come on, like all these things, just improving your health, improving your finances, improving your status on the level you feel the most comfortable with. That's something up to you. You are in control. So I don't know. Is she talking about all men in general? I mean, you can't point a finger and then not expect three fingers to be pointed right back at you.
there is no afterlife and judgment day, because you will come to face God one day. It's not YOLO. How many of you are reading the Bible and actually doing what it says? Not pretending to be a Christian man, a good Christian man. Yeah, we know what you're up to. How many of you on your wish list is ass and tits? You want double D's, you don't care about morals. You don't want to deal with emotions. You want a robot. You want a sex robot. You'll be the first one in line for the robot girlfriend. That's you. How many of you are hiding behind a computer every day and playing video games for hours? And you don't approach women? How many? You're right. We don't need you. I never said that we don't want you. I never said to give up on love either. I still have hope, but will I take these red flags? No, I will walk away at the first red flag, and so will a lot of women. You have to do better. Stop blaming us. We're tired of the internet gurus talking about what women should be doing better. No! You're the leaders. You do better. Grow up. And get ready to get called out. If you want to leave a comment on my page, I don't need your support. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for money.
This video was so unhinged. It was so completely unhinged, and I have to be honest,
And the good guy, he's in the friend zone, and we don't want to. But here's my response video.
watch. Just for some context here, she posted that first...
Okay, so you heard all that, right? All right, I want you to hear the whole thing before I'm going to replay it sentence by sentence. Everything she said. We're get ready, because I'm gonna dissect this thing. I have a few things I want to say about the things that she said in this video. I really do. I've got a few things So let's get right into it. Now we're going to replay it, but this time I'm going to stop it and comment on every sentence. Like I said, I want you to hear the whole thing first. Now that you heard it all, let's break it down. All right. Let's hope I can find it here.
video, and then this is the follow-up video to that video because it went viral. And this one is 3.5 minutes. FYI, you've got to bear with me here. Let's
a long 3.5 minutes.
To the curve and have some patience, okay?
So I got over 3,000 comments that I can't respond to.
Okay.
But here's my response video. And I can be a nice person, don't get me wrong. But y'all are really provoking me. And go ahead. You're not gonna get a nice side of me if you.
I don't think she's a nice person at all. I really don't. I think she's really, really judgmental. You know, that's just my opinion. But let's keep going.
You want to provoke me. And I will check you. So you want to leave some nasty comments? Get ready to get checked.
Very different
Yeah. Like I said, she's not a nice person. Like I said, she seems very, very judgmental. Let's get right into it. Sorry, I caught myself repeating myself.
versus the last video.
Let's take a poll for all you guys that say I'm wrong.
Okay, here we go.
And the good guy, he's in the friend zone, and we don't know what we're talking about.
That's right. She probably friend zones the good guys. That's exactly right. She friend zones the good guys while she looks for the bad boys that she can date. I guarantee it. The good guy she should be dating is in the friend zone. So part of this falls on her. She's putting all the blame on men, but like I said, we're gonna break. I'm already breaking it down, and it's like, yeah. They. I'm sorry, but they friend zone a lot of good guys. That's sad, but that's true.
It's all this feminist crap. You know, women want equality. It's our fault, though.
It partly is their fault. I mean, look at women today. A lot of men blame feminism. Well, feminism is part of the problem. Women think that they want a man to live up to their high standards. You know, they won't date Joe the plumber, even though Joe the plumber makes 6 figures. Go figure.
Okay, so when YouTube, when you're analyzing this video, whatever Jeremiah is saying, that's not my opinion if it comes to feminism. So please bear that in mind. I have no ill will against these organizations. I have no harsh criticism that relates to hate speech if it comes to these groups, these minority, these fringe groups. It's a personal opinion. It's an ideology. It's a mindset. If people want to relate to that, if people find their identity in that, and they're identifying with that, that's their personal choice and beliefs, and they have their freedoms. Just like Donald Trump would say, you know, you have your freedoms, I have my freedoms. So yeah, that's basically it. That's the one I add to it. It's Jeremiah's opinion. It's not my opinion. So don't use it against me, please.
He does. In this day and age, in this labor shortage, plumbers, electricians, men in the trades are doing way better than they ever used to. Depends on what market you're in, but yeah. This girl seems like a real stuck-up snob. She really does. She comes across me the wrong way. Too judgmental. Oh, wait till you hear what she's got to say. Some of it I'll agree with. We're going to find out what parts that is.
Let's take a poll. Which, by the way, you guys have had thousands of years to get it together. So I don't think it's our fault.
Yeah,
If you guys
it
could have done
partly is
something
your
better,
fault.
you would have by now. Let's take a poll and see how many guys out here are actually dateable. How many of you work out? You go to the gym.
Yes, I do.
You take care of yourself and what
I
you
do take
eat.
care of myself.
How many of you are fat slobs?
I'm not fat.
Any of those? You're not an option. How many of you?
All right. Let's go on. Let's go with this one. She asked a very good question. Now, this one I agree with her on. She's not wrong here. She said that a lot of guys are overweight and they dress like slobs, and she's absolutely correct. 80% of the men are probably undateable if they don't know how to tuck their shirt in, they don't shave, they don't clean up, they look like effing slobs. She's correct. Have you been to the grocery store lately? Have you been to Walmart lately, taking a look around? She probably has. She's going, oh my God. some of these guys are fat, and the ones that are not are scrawny little runts. She don't want them either. It's just as bad being a scrawny runt as it is to be morbidly obese. It's almost just as bad. You know, I'm sure she's looking for Chad. I'm sure she's looking for the chiseled man. But she won't settle for a guy that even just looks healthy. So he's not chiseled. But he's not obese. He's not.
Okay, so YouTube, once again, if you're analyzing the video, I'm not making fun of people that are overweight, and I'm definitely not wailing on, on the fat positive community. I don't remember what it's called. Body positivity. Yeah, I'm not debunking body positivity. Jeremiah has his opinion. I have my opinion, and on those both mentioned groups, minority groups in society, I haven't voiced my opinion. I'm listening to an opinion of another person, and I'm not agreeing, I'm not disagreeing, I'm just staying on the background, literally. Okay, so keep that in mind while you're analyzing the video. For everybody that's watching, pardon your interruption, but I have to state it. If I'm not putting it on the screen, I have to state it. Okay, so I'm respecting YouTube's policy.
Skinny, but it's medium build. He's okay. But she don't want that guy either. I guarantee it. Even if the guy was not overweight, he had a decent paying job, he tucked his shirt in, she still wouldn't want him because he's not Chad. That's how this woman is coming across. But guys, this first point, she's spot on. Okay? I'll agree with her on this one. Because I've taken a look around.
But that basically goes both ways. I mean, that is just a general for any rational minded person. If you're not on a level that you find attractive personally, how can you expect then that the other person, if that's below that level, you would find them attractive? So if you want to meet 50 if you want to go 50-50, you want to meet halfway. If you want to be leveled, you want to be even, then you've got to compete in that way, right? So if you have hygiene, like a good grooming and hygiene routine, if you have a good workout routine, you follow a good diet and all that stuff, then it's normal for another person, for you as a person, to look for these similar traits in another person. It's typical. I mean, I personally don't see there anything wrong with it, and I assume that what she was talking about was kind of coming out of a point of position, whether it's online or offline, that she encounters too many of these types of people, of men. But that's not 80%. Jeremiah, these stats are off. That's not 80%. 80% of men are not that. If you're talking about people that are a minority, it's definitely not that 80% that live the lifestyle. Let's say they're like, Reddit mods or Twitch mods or something like that. Just the stereotype. I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about when we're talking about these meme cartoons, right? This is the first thing we think of, but it's not 80% of men that operate on that level of neglect. And by the way, don't forget there is a mental health crisis, a loneliness crisis concerning, and depression concerning young men in general. So you can also say that that's also an extension of the mental health issue, that is a physical neglect, and you can't keep that as something against people or judge people on that behalf, because maybe they used to do well before that, or they might double down on the past and regret their neglectfulness. But you have to give people chances, opportunities. You have to see beyond that. You don't know if they have medical issues, like concerning their obesity. There might be some genetical issues. You don't know. Like you can say, okay, I have a preference for this, I have a preference for that. Fair enough. Everybody has their types of preferences. Even beyond that, she goes about that a lot of men are very superficial. They just only focus on physical attributes. I mean, I can understand. You have to think about it. If you're younger, it's going to be more a primary focus. It's also nature and instinct. It can be preferred. I understand that if there are certain addictions that she mentioned attached to it, it's not an attractive feature if it comes with the deal. Completely agree with that. But these are problems. Like if you look at the channel Moon, for example, he made micro documentaries, summaries on this problem, that these organizations have a certain agenda. This collectiveness has an agenda that is the downfall of man in general. And if men want to point out certain faults that women have had in the past by aligning with it, like then that's just because that's what they see as being a red flag concerning relationships dynamics between men and women, that it interrupts that flow. And it's fair enough. It's basically saying like, okay, this sword is sharp, this short sword is dull. I mean, that's calling a spade, a cat a cat. That's just a way of relaying a message saying like, look, we see a lot of problems with what you align with that causes trouble within a household, so men and women can't come together anymore. We got to do something about it. Like clean up before your doorstep, before your clean your porch first before complaining about someone else's backyard. You know what I mean? Like, this is what it talks about. So it's not, some people may sound more judgmental, can be more judgmental depending on the personality, I understand. But it's more about, look, it's not because men are struggling right now that women didn't make past decisions that aren't that great. So thinking about that, you should maybe reflect upon that and try changing some aspects of your life or your mentality or your ideology so you can meet halfway again. That's basically what it means. It's kind of like an aid, it's to help out.
Obesity is a real epidemic in this country. Guys, women aren't going to date you when you look like a fat slob. It's not just being overweight, but dressing like a slob. Not knowing how to dress up like a gentleman. Or look sexy. You're competing with other guys to get the woman's attention. You do realize that for every attractive woman you're trying to pursue, there's probably 50 other guys pursuing the same woman. Did you forget that? You must have. Yeah, she's correct on this one. So I'll give her a point here. Let's continue.
You guys jack off to porn. Women don't like that. So we're not gonna be cool with that.
Okay.
Okay, so before
And what you
Jeremiah is
eat.
going to speak,
How
I'm
many of
going
you
to
are
add
fat?
something. I'm going to add something to it as well. There is the percentage is less, but there is a percentage of women that are also addicted to adult content. You can't just wipe that off the table. You can't just say like, oh, it's only men that have 2/3 of men have an issue with that type of an addiction. Well, there are women that also are addicted to it, but it's less noticeable. They're not less vocal about it because it's on a different level, but it does exist as well. It's a spider web that catches both flies. You can't pretend it's only a man problem. And then that becomes an unattractive feature within potential relationship development. I understand any type of addiction will be problematic, whether it's relationship, intimate relationships, and even raising of children. So this is true. It's been proven by science and studies that a man with certain addictions will not being able to fulfill his duties, throughout the lifespan of a relationship, and even for his offspring. So yeah, that's true. Like, so the maintenance, the hygiene, the healthy habits, all these things make perfect sense. There are a lot of men in certain spheres that are completely devoted to improving themselves daily. So discrediting these people as well, these men as well, is also bringing them off their grind, and that's also not really a nice way to reach out and to voice your frustration and to generalize, because that's also stereotyping, generalizing, and kind of reflecting that man child / teenage boy on a lot of grown-up men right now. I personally don't. I think that is very offensive as well. Stating that, even if it's on TikTok, it's still an offensive way of trying to relay a message. Also pointing a finger, stereotyping and generalizing, and stretching it out as much as you can to blame the other party, to blame the other gender for social relationship problematics.
Slobs. Any of those, you're not an option. How many of you guys jack off to porn? Women don't like that. So we're not gonna be cool with that. So you're not an option either.
Nope.
How many of you live at home with your mommy, or you have an extremely unhealthy relationship with your mommy where she tells you what to do, she wipes your nose and wipes your tears, cooks for you, cleans for you. You don't know how to do anything for yourself because you're a giant child. How many? Be honest. Don't lie, because I will call you out. How many of you are getting drunk and high every weekend? Partying it up, YOLO. Acting like there is no afterlife and judgment day. because you will come to face God one day. It's not YOLO. How many of you are reading the Bible and actually doing what it says? Not pretending to be a Christian man, a good Christian man. Yeah, we know what you're up to. How many of you on your wish list is ass and tits? You want double D's, you don't care about morals. You don't want to deal with emotions. You want a robot. You want a sex robot. You'll be the first one in line for the robot girlfriend. That's you. How many of you are hiding behind a computer every day and playing video games for hours? And you don't approach women.
But like it's not it's not the computer thing. You can say how many women are hiding behind a phone screen every day on social media. It's the same thing. I mean, it's just cherry picking. You can say video game addiction and adult addiction is a problem for a lot of young men. This is like a substitute, is a cope. Well, women have the same thing with having like low self-esteem and being insecure, and they will use social media to abridge that. So we can go circles and circles and not get anywhere with this type of accusations, because it's basically accusations, right? I don't mind people outing themselves out of frustration, but you have to get to the core point and to see what alternatives you have to solve it, instead of pushing each other away. You should reach out to each other and find middle ground. That's the whole point of these things. But this is not getting anybody anywhere. And personally, just like Jeremiah said, is only making her be more, or appear more, at least online, as an unattractive woman in this situation. A loud and vocal woman. Well, if you follow Paul, if you keep to biblical traditions, that's also anti-Christianity, anti-Christian morality and ethics, being a loud woman, a loud and vocal woman. So she can talk about Judgment Day, but that loud aspect is also going to be kept against her, because that goes against certain principles that Christianity teaches. Just using it as an example, that's what I mean. You can go in circles all day. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's not going to make you a better person. It's not going to help the other gender improve or lead as they want it. But I personally think that many women that are very vocal in that way, like in that negative accusatory way, they don't want to be led. They want to be dominated, but they don't want to be led, because they want to be the ones that are in charge. So personally, I think that if they're like that all the time, if that's really a major part of their personality, they're actually meant to be alone. They're not meant to be in a relationship. And I'm not saying that I don't want them to be, or I don't wish them to be. I'm just saying realistically, it's not gonna form any type of intimate partnership. What you really need, if you or talking about the Bible, Christianity, talking about God, if you're talking about traditionalism.
How many? You're right. We don't need you. I never said that we don't want you. I never said to give up on love either. I still have hope, but will I take these red flags? No. I will walk away at the first red flag, and so will a lot of women. You have to do better. Stop blaming us. We're tired of the internet gurus talking about what women should be doing better. No! You're the leaders. You do better.
Oh my
Grow up.
God.
And get ready to get called out. If you want to leave a comment on my page, I don't need your support. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not
Yes,
doing
you
this for
are.
money.
This video was so unhinged. It was so completely unhinged, and I have to be honest,
And the good guy, he's in the friend zone, and we don't want to. But here's my response video.
watch. Just for some context here, she posted that first
Okay. So you heard all that, right? All right. I want you to hear the whole thing before I'm going to replay it sentence by sentence. Everything she said. We're get ready, because I'm going to dissect this thing. I have a few things I want to say about the things that she said in this video. I really do. I've got a few things So let's get right into it. Now we're going to replay it, but this time I'm going to stop it and comment on every sentence. Like I said, I want you to hear the whole thing first. Now that you heard it all, let's break it down. All right. Let's hope I can find it here.
video, and then this is the follow-up video to that video because it went viral. And this one is 3.5 minutes. FYI, you've got to bear with me here. Let's
A
try to
long
get our
3.5
notifications
minutes.
to the curb and have some patience, okay?
So I got over 3,000 comments that I can't respond to.
Okay.
But here's my response video. And I can be a nice person, don't get me wrong, but y'all are really provoking me. And go ahead. You're not gonna get a nice side of me if you.
I don't think she's a nice person at all. I really don't. I think she's really, really judgmental. You know, that's just my opinion. But let's keep going.
You want to provoke me. And I will check you. So you want to leave some nasty comments? Get ready to get checked.
Very different
Yeah. Like I said, she's not a nice person. Like I said, she seems very, very judgmental. Let's get right into it. Sorry, I caught myself
approach to
repeating
this video
myself.
versus the last video.
Let's take a poll for all you guys that say I'm
Okay,
wrong,
here we go.
and the good guy, he's in the friend zone, and we don't know what we're talking about. It's
That's right. She probably friend zones the good guys. That's exactly right. She friend zones the good guys while she looks for the bad boys that she can date. I guarantee it. The good guy she should be dating is in the friend zone. So part of this falls on her. She's putting all the blame on men, but like I said, we're gonna break. I'm already breaking it down, and it's like, yeah,
She's putting all the blame on men because of online frustration and confrontation concerning social problematics, social relationship problematics. So, I mean, like I said, I understand where she's coming from. Could have been both sides, any side, but it's the way she gets at it. It's like we have all these worldly problems in the West, and we're not gonna be held accountable, or not if we don't feel like it. But since you have so much shortcomings as men, it's time to step up and fix everything so everybody can be in pace and harmony. I mean, that's kind of how the vibe it gives off, at least to me.
yeah. They. I'm sorry, but they friend zone a lot of good guys.
It's not about friend zoning only. It's about categorizing men accordingly, concerning what they have to offer. That's why it's what is it called again? It's exchangeable. Yeah, it's based on what you can exchange. What you can gain and what you can give, what you can get and what you can give. Personally, it's interesting enough, but I came to a point in my life that, in a certain degree, that I also start believing that there is reason to it. There is, and hear me out. Like, the younger you are, the more you believe in things as true love, eternal love, romance, in a human sense. I'm not talking about the divine and all that stuff. I'm not talking about unconditional love and giving and caring. I'm talking about just mainly in a relationship between a man and a woman and a man, or whatever you might be finding yourself in, what type of relationship, right? It's more about, do you have similar interest goals? Can you agree upon these goals that are concerning the near future? Do you know your parts, the roles to play, if it's traditionalism? And can you balance things out, meet each other every time 50-50, halfway, and elevate and help each other grow and progress and navigate through life, be each other's backbone, be each other's helping hands, be each other's rock and foundation? Like, these things should be questioned and asked from the beginning of getting to knowing each other. But it's mainly because, like, let's say I give you a little bit of money every month. Can you maintain the household? Or let's say I am so many hours outside and doing such and such, so I'm too tired. Can you take care of? You know what I mean? Like, there has to be some type of a mutual agreement where you meet halfway, where each party does something specifically that contributes to the greater good within a household. And that's where traditionalism has a stronger foot in the door way that can help you get to there faster without bickering and fussing and not knowing what your place or position might or you want it to be. But in a modern context, is you can be anything, you can do anything. There are no limitations, there are no boundaries. Restrictions only come from this traditional mindset that failed us in the past, so we should do anything but that and just figure it out while we go. But then at the same time, while doing so, it seems to fail over and over again, while we actually crave that traditionalism, but we don't want to give into it because our egos are in the way, right? So this is like an actual problem that goes on in a lot of modern households.
That's sad, but that's true.
It's all this feminist crap. You know, women want equality. It's our fault, though.
It partly is their fault. I mean, look at women today. A lot of men blame feminism. Well, feminism is part of the problem.
Okay, Jeremiah, I definitely should warn you in the name of YouTube, but you might definitely get flagged, to say it politely, by YouTube. Yeah, definitely. So you better watch you better watch what you do, because this goes against community guidelines and policies on YouTube. If you're targeting a fringe minority on YouTube, even if you disagree politely, you're still stereotyping and reaching out in the negative. And like I said again, YouTube, when you're watching this, pardon the people that are watching, this is not my opinion that is being voiced. So this has nothing to do with the channel. This has nothing to do what the channel stands for. This is a personal opinion from someone I'm watching through commentary, something I didn't expect to be part of this commentary I'm doing concerning the video I'm watching. They know that would be a subject matter. So for me, this is also a surprise. I'm not aligning, I'm not associating, and this has nothing to do with the channel or with me or the community.
Women think that they want a man to live up to their high standards. You know, they won't date Joe the plumber, even though Joe the plumber makes 6 figures. Go figure. He does. In this day and age, in this labor shortage, plumbers, electricians, men in the trades are doing way better than they ever used to. Depends on what market you're in, but yeah. This girl seems like a real stuck-up snob. She really does. She comes across me the wrong way. Too judgmental. Oh, wait till you hear what she's got to say. Some of it I'll agree with. We're going to find out what parts that is.
Let's take a poll. Which, by the way, you guys have had thousands of years to get it together. So I don't think it's our fault.
Yeah,
If you guys
it
could have
partly
done
is your
something better,
fault.
you would have by now. Let's take a poll and see how many guys out here are actually dateable. How many of you work out? You go to the gym.
Yes, I do.
You take care of yourself and what you
I
eat.
do take care of myself.
How many of you are fat slobs?
I'm not fat.
Any of those? You're not an option. How many of you?
All right. Let's go on. Let's go with this one. She asked a very good question. Now, this one I agree with her on. She's not wrong here. She said that a lot of guys are overweight and they dress like slobs, and she's absolutely correct. 80% of the men are probably undateable if they don't know how to tuck their shirt in, they don't shave, they don't clean up, they look like effing slobs. She's correct. Have you been to the grocery store lately? Have you been to Walmart lately, taking a look around? She probably has. She's going, oh my God. Some of these guys are fat, and the ones that are not are scrawny little runts. She don't want them either. It's just as bad being a scrawny runt as it is to be morbidly obese. It's almost just as bad. You know, I'm sure she's looking for Chad. I'm sure she's looking for the chiseled man. But she won't settle for a guy that even just looks healthy. So he's not chiseled. But he's not obese. He's not skinny, but he's medium build. He's okay. But she don't want that guy either. I guarantee it. Even if the guy was not overweight, he had a decent paying job, he tucked his shirt in, she still wouldn't want him because he's not Chad. That's how this woman is coming across. But guys, this first point, she's spot on. Okay? I'll agree with her on this one. Because I've taken a look around. more obesity is a real epidemic in this country. Guys, women aren't going to date you when you look like a fat slob. It's not just being overweight, but dressing like a slob. Not knowing how to dress up like a gentleman or look sexy. You're competing with other guys to get the woman's attention. You do realize that for every attractive woman you're trying to pursue, there's probably 50 other guys pursuing the same woman. Did you forget that? You must have. Yeah, she's correct on this one. So I'll give her a point here. Let's continue.
You guys jack off to porn. Women don't like that. So we're not gonna be cool with that.
Okay. She's talking about guys who you heard what she said, jacking off to porn, right? Well, probably 90% of the male population watches porn. Yeah. That's 90% of the men. Now, some guys only see it once a month. Some guys view it once a week. Some once every couple of months. Some guys do it every day. Now, that's
What we got to keep in mind is what Moon said, the channel Moon said in the micro documentary. The whole summary of it is not because the majority of men participate in watching and participating in these acts during adult content encounterment. Just trying to say that's censored and neutral as possible. That they actually enjoy doing it, in the sense of that's what they want. And that's a good point that I remember watching that video is true. I believe that like this as an example is a cope in Western culture for men to deal with male loneliness. It's not like, okay, I do that because I am enjoying myself so much that if you just think about it, logically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. If a guy would have purpose, a goal, and establish himself, has someone that supports him, can create a family, like all these things coming together step by step while working to it, so putting in the effort and creating results, that would keep him from participating and indulging in these negative addictions that are toxic in the long run and in higher dosages. But because there is nothing else going on for that person in life, and depression might have struck him, that means that is the go-to temporary for the meantime to keep him distracted from going and spiraling even deeper. So that's just basically to keep your head afloat so you can breathe a little bit of air before sinking completely. So when someone like that comes in and judges the people that are dealing with that, because it's a phase, right? It's a struggle, it's a phase, it's something that men are going through. It's a cycle, right? That instead of pointing the finger, breaking down, judging, and making fun or ridiculing, they should try to understand the deeper psychology behind it. Why? And is it something that is natural? Is it something that people just do for the sake of it? And like you would, I don't know, do other stuff that would be more acceptable socially, but she's not taking the time. That's something I learned throughout the years as well, that many people that would judge other people for bad behavior or addictions that make them unattractive or unpleasant as human beings, let alone they want to communicate, participate, or have any type of doing with a person. The point is that they will never deep dive in understanding, just like a psychologist or a therapist or a coach, what is going on, what drives people to do these things or act out in that way. And also the problems it brings when that becomes the new norm, because they eventually will also pull on the shorter end of the stick, no pun intended, and that will have dire consequences as well. But that's something they're not understanding while they're judging. So one of the biggest sins in the world is still judging one another.
Now that's when you have a problem. Is when guys spend more time watching porn than they should be out in the real world. So, yeah, it can become a problem. I can see her point there. But like I said, that's 90% of men. Believe it or not, you may not like what I'm saying, but I believe that 90% of the men, whether they admit it or not, are into prawn, including this guy right here. That's right, this guy right here, this man in the mirror. Probably about once a month. I don't know why I do it. I'm only there for about 3 or 4 minutes and I'm done. You know, watch one little sex scene. Okay, I've had enough of this. Time to switch it, get rid of it. I don't know why I do it. I mean, I get lonely too. I'm a widower. And at least I admit it. And 90% of the men out there are doing the same thing. It depends on how often they do it, whether it's every day, once a week, once a month.
No, it's basically not a matter of how many times or how often. It's about self-discipline, self-control. But mainly when you do participate knowingly, consciously, actively, understanding why you're doing it, why is it a go-to, why aren't the other alternatives that might be more beneficial and healthy, that these would put on the back burner while you're using that as a go-to, as a substitution. Understanding that for yourself on a subconscious level is going to help you improve dramatically. And this is true. I mean, it's like facing demons, it's like fighting wars. To me, when I think about it, if you are in the rabbit hole of watching more and more and more and performing more and more and needing more in an extreme sense, you're cooked. Okay. That's fatality, just like in Mortal Kombat. But if you do it like, Jeremiah says, if he's being truthful and honest, then that's basically just like an outlet. Okay, keeping consideration his age as well, but as an outlet. And that outlet is kind of like if you're frustrated or you're angry, you want to punching bag, you go for a run or something like that. You do anything that is physically an activity. The same goes with that too. It's a release of something, of a sort of energy. This, in this situation, sexual energy, sexual tension, sexual energy. Now, it's still better to go in that direction than to use and abuse other people to release these tensions, if you know what I mean, if we're talking about graping, because many people would go over and do that. If one doesn't satisfy anymore or they're not getting it, then they will force it. That's even worse. That's like even a bigger sin than watching a couple of minutes of adult content. But yeah, everything in this world that can become an addiction to men mainly is meant to bring down a man in his status, in his value, in his being, and spiritually. So giving in too many times too often will bring you in that rabbit hole that will be harder and harder, no pun intended, to climb out. So all we can do is create a community where we help each other, support each other, navigate, and share these stories and these testimonies so we can understand each other people, and ourselves, and thus improve within time. Because life is an experience, life is a school, life is a learning experience. So instead of judging, laughing, mocking, insulting, ridiculing, we should be supporting each other.
Month for me, it's about once a month. But to say, well, I don't like a guy that watches prawn. Over 90% of the men watch prawn. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. Men will be men. That's just how it is. Men like to look at beautiful women. Men just are into certain things.
That has to do with women being more emotionally and men being more physically, meaning that physical visualization stimulation is more attractive to men. Again, if it's superficial, not, it is true. This is science, this is nature, and for women it's more psychological, emotional thing. So the emotional bond is more valued than the physical attractiveness. Doesn't mean that physical attractiveness doesn't matter, but we're talking about sexual interaction, right? So this is something to understand and also to respect concerning each other, where our preferences lie through nature. But then again, self-control and discipline is also an attractive feature because it gives us an opportunity to be in control in what we give into or not. And that determines if you're going to be an attractive person or not in the eyes of the other that we're dealing with. So all these things should be kept in mind. But the younger you are, it's going to be more of a challenge. The older you become, the more you understand it because you've been through it. If you don't go through these things, how can you change and improve and better yourself? And if people insult, mock, and ridicule you, how can you feel confident enough you will be able to do so? Results vary again, but like if you have a positive mindset, at least, because it all starts with the mindset, the outlook on life, the motivation, the drive, and also the support.
It's just in our DNA. We're just hardwired for that. So let's continue on with what she's saying. Because like I said, men watching prawn, that's just a guy thing. Like men like their lawnmowers. They like their riding lawnmowers. They like their trucks. They like their four-wheel drive. We love that stuff. We're men. I'm not apologizing for it either. No, let's continue. Like I said, we're breaking this down sentence by sentence.
So you're not an option either. How many of you live at home with your mommy, or you have an extremely unhealthy relationship with your mommy, where...
Okay, now, I live next to my dad, and he had a heart attack recently. But for 37 years, I lived on my own, 30 miles away from Dad. Now I'm here because he just recently had a heart attack just a couple weeks ago. And I was here to, dial 911. And the ambulance came out to get him. Yeah. So, it depends on the situation. Now, I was married for 12 years before she passed away, and I was on my own for 37, almost 40 years. I'm now 57 years old. Been on my own since I was 19 years old, something like that. So, from age 18 to 55, 56, yeah, I was on my own. So, I had my own place. I still kind of do. But it depends, though. Now, what she's talking about is guys that live at home with their mommies and they've never been on their own, ever. But here's the problem. Now I encourage men and women, young adults, to stay at home with their parents as long as they can. I don't care if you're 30 years old. Inflation, housing is no longer obtainable.
Jeremiah, come on, bro. It's not optional anymore. It's not optional anymore. It isn't. That's deliberately done. I'm not going to go into full detail, but it's deliberately done. I mean, those days, those golden days, that I'm not sure if you still experience that. Maybe your father did. They're over.
Just trying to rent an apartment could run you $1,500-$1,600 a month. Look it up. Look up the average rent. It's true. So just getting out of the gate, getting a decent job where you can afford your own apartment now is becoming not obtainable. And that's just housing. That's not including a decent vehicle. That's not including groceries, utilities, everyday living. It's like, so if you're living at home with your mommy, that's fine. So long as you're working. I don't care if...
She's not saying if that's fine. No, she's saying it's not attractive. And because it's not attractive, you're not a candidate in the line of being the one to ask her hand in marriage. That's what she's talking about. It's an unattractive feature if it comes with the deal. If you still live at home, if you still can't wipe your behind, if you still can't prepare your own food, if it's not microwaved, like all these things mean these are unattractive features that screams out non-verbally. I can't take care of myself, so I'm not going to be able to take care of you or your offspring. That's what she's actually referring to. It's like really behind the lines. Not have to do with the inflation thing and economy. I mean, she's aware. Well, I mean, women in politics, it's not like something that goes hand in hand always. But in general, not many women are fully aware of what's going on in the world. If it comes to these matters, it's a typical manly thing to be more involved, right, with worldly affairs.
You're working at Domino's. If you are paying rent to your parents every month, let's say you work at Domino's and you're paying your parents $600 and $700 a month rent. Okay, you're paying them at least $600 or $700 a month rent, which is about half the national average. That's not bad. Even $600 a month isn't bad. Let's say you're paying your parents $600 a month. You work at Domino's and you pay your mom and dad $600 a month rent, and you help out with the chores. That's kind of like living on your own, sort of, but at least you have a job and you're contributing to the household budget. What she's talking about are probably guys who aren't working at all. Yeah, I'm just putting that out there. She's criticizing guys who live with their mommies. I'm not. It depends on the situation. Now, she's, I think, talking about a very specific situation. She called it an unhealthy relationship with their mommies. Define unhealthy relationship. Let's see if we can have her define it.
She tells you what to do. She wipes your nose and wipes your tears, cooks for you, cleans for you. You don't know how to do anything for yourself because you're a giant child.
I agree with her. That's exactly, she's narrowing it down. You got a mommy who tucks you in at night, does everything for you. Yeah, you need to do things for yourself. Like I said, if you're paying $600 a month rent, you're mowing the lawn, you're helping wash the dishes, cook some of the meals, do some of the laundry even, help around the house, and pay rent. That's not a bad thing. That's my opinion. Let's hear what else she has to say.
How many? Be honest. Don't lie, because I will call you out.
Oh.
How many of you are getting drunk and high every weekend? Partying it up, YOLO. Acting like there is no afterlife and judgment day. Because you will.
Okay. Partying up every weekend. Again, I have something I want to say about this one. If you define partying every weekend, what if I want to hang out with some of my male buddies? You know, we go to Big Whiskeys. There's a
Jeremiah, she's not talking about that, man. Listen to what she's saying. She says that she's stating actually there's a clear problem with a lot of young men that are struggling with addictions, getting drunk and getting high being one of these addictions. And that's becoming a more and more visible, noticeable thing. Like, let's say 1 or 2 out of 5 men are struggling with that at a young age. So that's not only unattractive, but that's also destructive. So that's something they don't want to get involved with. So if that's part of your lifestyle, that's a lifestyle they don't want to be a part of or associate with. That's what she's saying. She's not saying some free time with male friends and hanging out and having a drink. She's saying people that do that to knock themselves out, to distance themselves from reality. But that's the point, understanding the escapism, the cope, gaming in an addictive way, corn in an addictive way, fast food in an addictive way, drinking, smoking, and doing drugs in an addictive way, like all these things. It's the question, why is it a cope? Why is it go to for 2 out of 5 men? All right. So that should be the question here. This should be the discussion point, not the blaming, not the trying to explain it, but not listening to the question or the statement. Sorry.
bar and grill. Springfield's full of these like Big Whiskeys, bar and grills, right? Even Cheddar's has a bar and a grill. Let's say we go to a party at Cheddar's. I'm hanging with my buddies at Cheddar's. There's a bar there. Maybe they have a few beers. We're having a good time, hanging out, socializing. I mean, that's got to be better than staying at home playing video games, right? It shows you're active in the community. It shows you've got friends. And you post it on Facebook. So you have a few beers. So what? What's wrong with hanging out with your friends on the weekends? Partying up everyone. At least you know how to have fun. You know how to have a good time. You know how to socialize. At least you have some social life. I mean, that's my opinion. But she's acting like partying on the weekends with your buddies is a bad deal. No, it's not. Not in my opinion. So you have a few beers. Maybe you smoke a little weed. Yeah. Take a whiff. You know? So what?
Jeremiah's been watching too much Base Contrarian, aka Incel Cringe, aka Well, base contrarian. The negative contrarian.
At least you're social. At least you're getting out of the house and you're doing something. Let's hear what else she has to say. Because like I said, I had to say something about this because she thinks that's a red flag. And I say no. I say, guys, go out and party. Have a good time with your friends. It's the guys who don't do that, who stay at home and watch Lawrence Welk. Well, that's old. You don't know who that is.
Will come to face God one day. It's not YOLO. How many of you are reading the Bible and actually doing what it says? Not pretending to be a Christian, man.
I'm sorry, but no, I don't read my Bible. And there's people on this planet from all kinds of religious backgrounds and denominations and all kinds of beliefs. Do I read my Bible every day? Nope. I don't. No. I might pick it up every once in a while. But no, I don't. I'll be honest with you. I do not read my Bible. I've got one. I'm just telling the truth. I could lie to you and say, oh man, yes, I read my Bible every day. I do not. Okay? I don't. I'm just being truthful. So that's going to be a red flag to her. I'm flawed. I like to hang out with my buddies, and no, I don't read my Bible. It doesn't mean I don't believe. Okay, I do believe that God died for my sins. I believe that. But, no, I don't even go to church. I bet that's a red flag for her, too. No, I don't go to church. I don't put money in the offering basket. I don't read my Bible. I don't do anything that this young lady would like me to do. No, I don't do any of those things. Nope. I'll admit it. Nope. I sure don't.
A good Christian man. Yeah, we know what you're up to.
I'm up to
How
no
many
good.
of you on your wish list is ass and tits? You want double D's, you don't care about morals?
Actually, yes, I do. I do care. If you're someone I'm going to marry, I do care about morals. Because that matters to me. I got to know that she's going to be faithful. She's not going to cheat on me. Lie to me. Yeah, I do care. You're dadgum right, I care. Let's continue on.
You don't want to deal with emotions. You want a robot. You want a sex robot. You'll be the first one in line for the robot girl.
No, I won't be the first one in line for a sex robot. I will not do a sex robot. I'd rather have a real woman than an AI robot any day of the week. If you want a sex robot, you do you. I'd rather have the real deal. Let's continue on.
Girlfriend, that's you. How many of you are hiding behind a computer every day and playing video games for hours?
Oh, that's a lot of guys. Then I'm not any better, really. I mean, I have my work schedule. And then I have a workout schedule because I work out at the gym. I go for hikes. So then I shave, shower, get cleaned up. I have to say I'm probably guilty, not for video games, but I'm a YouTube addict. So I probably watch at least 2 hours of YouTube a day, maybe 3. So I'm partly guilty. I have screen time, just like everybody else. Whether it's regular TV, or YouTube, or Netflix, or Amazon Prime, whatever platform you're using. We're all guilty of it. Every one of us are guilty of screen time. Some of you just scroll on TikTok. Me, it's YouTube. And I admit it. Again, this man in the mirror right here is admitting his own flaws. I'm a YouTube addict. I'm making a YouTube video right now for the YouTube. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
And you don't approach women. How many? You're right. We don't need you. I never said that we don't want you. I never said to give up on love either. I still have hope, but will I take these red flags? No. I will walk away at the first red flag, and so will a lot of women. You have to do better. Stop blaming us. We're tired of the internet gurus talking about what women should be doing better. No! You're the leaders. You do better. Grow up. And get ready to get called out. If you want to leave a comment on my page, I don't need your support. I'm not doing this for likes. I'm not doing this for money.
Okay. All right.
Let me call something out briefly as well. If a woman states clearly that she's not doing it for likes or money, she's doing it for likes and money.
So basically, some of you guys are guilty of everything she listed. Some of you don't shower as much as you should, don't exercise as much as you should, you don't eat right, you play too many video games, you're on screen too much. Some of you don't even have a job. Still living with your mommies, not working. You know, she may be right. Like I said, on the first one, she was 100% correct. And then she also made mention of guys living with their mommies. Depends on the relationship. The kind she was talking about, again, she's correct. But she still comes across as snobbish. I guess it's her presentation. She just rubbed me the wrong way. She expects you to be perfect on every level. And she accuses men of wanting perfection. Now this guy right here, I would love to fall in love again. But I'm not looking for the supermodel. I'm not going to marry that 20-something like I did with my first wife. I'm 57 now. That's not going to happen. I mean, I've been to Walmart. There's just, I don't see any eligible women that I would date. But if I were, but there's not very many attractive men either. And I'm a straight guy saying this. I'm going, men are just as bad as the women.
So that's what I exactly said at the beginning of this video. It's like you gotta meet each other halfway. You gotta even level each other out. Like if you are an active gym goer, if you eat healthy, if you don't mess up your diet, if you do the things that keep you in shape and make you genuinely an attractive person by default, then of course you want the same in return, right? That's transactional relationships are all about. This is a non-verbal, subconscious way of dealing with each other. So when he says that, it's true. So if you got slobby people, you're going to meet more slobby people, right? Then you're equal to each other. You're deserving of each other in that sense. And the funny thing is that these people, without being judgmental, they don't want it. They want the opposite, but that's not realistic. And then they're going to complain and go on a rant online.
So she's correct. Guys need to stop being fat. Stop dressing like slobs. Now, on the issue of, like I said, party on the weekends. What's wrong with that? She wants a man who reads her Bible. Well, I'm sorry, but there's lots of men from other religions and all kinds of religious beliefs and lifestyles. So, no, I don't read my Bible. She's not going to like it because I won't go to church. I don't donate money to Kenneth Copeland or any other evangelist. Nah, I keep all my money.
Why are not you flying commercial? I don't want to step inside of a tube filled with demons.
Yeah, I do. I admit it. I don't deny it. I don't deny it at all. We're already up to 31 minutes. I didn't even have time to go over any of the guys' comments. Oh, let's go to my history file. Let's see, since we're do have some internet connection. Maybe I can read some of the comments.
This video.
Okay, let's see. Courtney Ryan, just too polite here. That's the YouTuber I got this off.
Jeremiah, I mean, I know you snatched the commentary idea from my channel because I did a lot of commentary on Courtney Ryan in the past, and I'm still doing it. But why didn't you let her speak? I mean, I wanted to know her opinion on this, because she's more in defense of men and being more rational if it comes to delusional women and their opinions. So it would have been interesting to add that to the mix. Now I have no idea. Now I have to rewatch it and do commentary myself. I don't even remember what video this is, but it's good that you brought me up into to coming to know that she did a response to this TikTok video. I don't even know what woman is in the TikTok video.
And yeah, let's go over some of the comments. Let's see what some of the guys had to say. I said what I had to say. I made my piece. And guys, yes, party. Go out, have a good time.
Okay, that's the worst advice. First, work out, eat healthy, establish yourself, and anything you want to do, you can do afterwards. That's up to you. Not doing first the partying and then thinking about life afterwards and then saying I'm a failure. That's the worst advice from Gen X. I'm going to stick around for a couple comments before I end the video. But until this point, thank you for watching if you made it so far.
Socialize. Get a job. Tuck your shirt in. Try to look healthy. I mean, she is correct on a couple of statements. This guy says, women, you need to level up and become a better man. Also, women, if you don't accept me for who I am, then you're the problem. They do say
Yeah, this one is a very good one. I do agree with that one.
that, but I hear guys say that too. Sword cuts both ways, guys. Because I hear some of these incels go on here. Well, I don't know why she turned me down. Why won't women accept me? Golly, dude. Why don't you change your clothes? Get rid of those frumpy clothes and that frumpy hairstyle. And get rid of those glasses. Come on. Have you even tried to look attractive?
Who is he talking about? Milhouse?
Tried to look sexy? I was watching this one guy in his car complaining about not getting a date. Guys are just as guilty as women are on this topic. Guys claim, women say, you have to accept us just the way we are. I've never heard any woman say that. I work around women every day. I've never heard them say that. But you'll think they say stuff like that if you watch these internet videos. But in real life, I have never heard a woman say that. Now, maybe somebody will eventually, but I've never heard it. It's pretty simple. Men don't want to be with disagreeable women. It's too much stress. Yeah, but if she's too agreeable, that's just as bad. I wouldn't want...
It depends. I mean, most of the time it's either one or the other. It's true. It's both extremes, but if you experience both, I think you would align more. Well, I'm sure you would align more with the one that's more agreeable and supportive than the one that's disagreeable and loud. To me, it makes perfect sense if you're talking about the nature of men.
I want a woman who agrees with me on everything. I want her to disagree with me on a few things. So being too agreeable is, like I said, just as bad. We've been told for over a decade that we're bad because we're men and that we're no longer needed. The dating scene reflects this. Well, men are needed. I see it every day. I see couples get together every day. So I don't know what these guys are talking about. I really don't. I don't get it. I think some of the reasons people stay single is they're just too finicky. Way too finicky. For me, I just want a mildly attractive woman who looks like a woman. Someone who doesn't have their hair butchered. Their hair isn't pink, blue, purple, orange. Covered in tattoos. I mean covered in them. A couple tattoos here and there. no problem. A couple of piercings here and there, no problem. But when you're covered in them, and you have butchered hair that's pink, blue, purple, orange, and you're 200 pounds overweight, yeah, that's not attractive to me. If you look like you don't take care of yourself, and you dress like a slob, that's not attractive to me. I want a woman that looks like a woman. She takes care of herself. She's got beautiful hair, nice skin. She wears decent clothes, not designer clothes necessarily, just she knows how to dress herself. Yeah. Is that too much to ask? It's like The Price is Right. Okay? If you take the contestants, not...
The main thing that you gotta understand is, and this is me being very reasonable and realistic, is that it's better to settle with someone that's less attractive but has a good heart, has the best intentions if it comes to you in a relationship, and will be there for you at the end of it all, right? In time of crisis. Like, these things have more value than just being a doll, or I don't know, meeting up with physical, limited, superficial expectations of today's society. I can understand that there has to be physical chemistry as well, because otherwise you're going to like a lot of other stuff that's also going to be problematic in the future. Like I said, I understand that, but I think it depends on what you put emphasis on. If it's mainly on the superficial outward appearance, you have a lot of growing and learning to do, but the focus should be on different things, and you can test the waters. The older you get, the more experience, the better you're going to be at testing and vetting a person out in the right way, in the correct way, right? It has to do with a healthy future and a healthy relationship. We all got to go through some hardship, whether it's by being single for a long time or being coming out of toxic relationships. There's no shaming that. I'm not guilt tripping anybody here. I'm just saying, I personally value a good personality, someone that respects me, someone that take cares of me, someone that aids me, someone that backs me up, someone that helps me, someone that can be a good partner, someone that doesn't only be loud, complaining, annoying, irritating, and uses womanhood as an excuse to justify bad behavior, bad interaction, bad chemistry, or just a disrespect. I'm very open, I'm very understanding. A lot of men are. There is a lot of stoicism going on. There is a lot of self-control. There is a lot of understanding, patience, but there is a limit to it as well. And if loudness and annoying and irritating and all these typical negative traits a lot of women seem to have in the West, then there is no point in pursuing any of that, because that's not something anybody wants to be stuck with. Even their female counterparts, that their besties or the romantic bestie interests or whatever, it's an unattractive feature that will show its cracks sooner or later, and nobody wants to stay around for that ship to sink. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry, and I'm sorry at the same time, because it's something that got adopted along the way by saying you're empowered by being like that, by voicing your opinion, by being loud, by being obnoxious, by being passive aggressive, by being semi-physical aggressive, and you can hide behind a certain wall of protection concerning society and gender roles and traditionalism, stereotypes, and at the same time get away with it because of your position. But at some point, reality is going to kick in. Time is not going to slow down. You're going to reap your results, and what are you going to do then? You're still going to complain, still going to judge, point fingers, and shun whomever is not worthy. That's not how it works. It's problematic because it's a mental condition, right? And as long as people aren't willing to address the ego and the mental condition, then there is no improvement inside. That goes for anybody.
The supermodels on the stage, the women in the audience, the contestants, they're average, everyday women. I was watching an old rerun from the early 80s, and those women are attractive, every one of them. Even some of the older ladies look like women. They look like ladies. And they're attractive. They're not covered in tattoos. They don't have pink, blue, purple hair. They're not 200 pounds out to here. They're not dressed like slobs. I was watching The Price is Right. I'm talking about the contestants, not the supermodels on the stage. The contestants, the normal, everyday people. When I want to fall in love with another woman, I want an everyday woman. I don't want the supermodel. just the everyday woman.
Okay, so we're gonna end it at that. That is actually the truth, and that's actually the most important part that you mentioned. You men or actually very simple in that way. The requirement is very basic and traditional, and if it presents itself, whether it's local, whether it's in their own country, or whether it's abroad, it's always an opportunity they would rather pursue than anything else that offer itself, even if it's a catch perceived in the eye of the beholder. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, comment, like, subscribe, share it, share your thoughts in the comment section, show your support by liking, by commenting, and share your opinion as well. What has your dating experience been like the last couple of years? Have you been in a long-term relationship? How long has it lasted? How have women been treating you lately? How have you been treating women lately? What is your opinion concerning dating relationships this time of the year, still 2024? And are there any high hopes of improvement for yourself and the dating industry, dating market, and women in general, and just couples in general in 2025? Let me know in the comment section what the options are. Let me know what your opinions are, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Take care, and until next time.